Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Today we are talking about the Battle of Los Angeles. Post Pearl Harbor, most Americans believed that there was a raid coming for the United States mainland. On December 9th, 1941, reports were released that there was an invasion heading directly for New York. Sadly, this tanked a freshly revived stock market. However, on the West Coast, pilots and raidermen with itchy trigger fingers fired at pretty much anything that moved, such as fishing boats, logs, and whales. On February 24th, 1942, Naval Intel instructed units to be ready for an attack. Everything was all clear until 2 a.m. the following morning. Radarmen detected an enemy contact 120 miles off the coast. The sirens blared, the city went into a complete blackout. And on top of that, everyone panicked. Shortly thereafter, troops manned their 50 caliber machine guns and searchlights, and for about an hour they found absolutely nothing. At 3 a.m., the men started firing at an object in the sky that only they seen in Santa Monica. Within minutes, the other coast defense weapons began firing as well. As it looked like Los Angeles was under attack, many people seen absolutely nothing. Others claimed to see anywhere from one plane to an entire invading force. And on top of that, some even happened to see bombs being dropped within the city. By the time there was an all clear called, over 1,400 rounds of ammunition was fired across the city. When daybreak broke, that was when people started to realize there was something huge about these attacks. There was kind of a distinct lack of any bombs. There were no downed enemy planes. And sadly, there was no return fire. I say sadly, but it's just the incompetency. Many people happen to suffer damage to their houses, though. But from what? That's actually the U.S. troops that were just blindly firing into the sky. They fired 3-inch shells into people's houses and their cars and a golf course. While there were no major injuries from this attack, 5 people did happen to pass away from heart attacks due to the excitement and from accidents just from the blackout. Makes me realize that people were reckless back then while they were driving, just like they are today. Just days before this attack, I say attack, I'm using that term loosely, event, FDR signed a horrible executive order 9066 on February 19th, 1942, to allow the forced relocation of over 120,000 Japanese Americans, which, for those of you who don't know, they were just put into internment camps. This event caused 20 Japanese Americans to be arrested and put into these internment camps. And for what? The crime of being accused of signaling a non-existent plane. And now you may be wondering and asking yourself, well, what were they firing at? What could be so extreme that caused all these troops to start firing blindly into the sky thinking that they saw something when most civilians seen absolutely nothing? Some reports say that there were planes. The Japanese say there were no planes, that there was never an attack on the U.S. mainland, just Pearl Harbor. Other reports say there was a UFO. Hard to say. The most believable topic, however, is a weather balloon 120 miles off the coast of Santa Monica. I believe the weather balloon story. It makes the most sense, especially because there was no damage to anything else outside of what our own United States military damaged. Now, I get it, the start of the war was terrifying, but that was a bit of an extreme response to a weather balloon, something that was completely unconfirmed. They were just using spotlights and radars. There was no confirmation that there was a weather balloon, a UFO, a plane, or just nothing in the sky. To this day, we still don't actually know what was there. Most reports say it was a weather balloon. What do you guys think? Tell me in the comments below. I'm pretty curious.